Hi everyone, just give me a couple of secs to set up my iPad and then I'll be ready to go. Rightio, we are ready to go. Good evening everybody. Tonight we're going to be doing something a little different for me. It's a no stamping project. Now who would have thought I would do a no stamping project, but I have tonight. And it's this gorgeous decoration here. And as you can see, I've made this one a Christmas version, but the one we're going to do tonight is going to be what I would call a spring version, because you can tailor this just by changing up the pattern paper, the designer series paper, to whatever you like. So this is how it looks. Hi Karen, how are you? Hi Nola. So I'll just turn it up so you can kind of see what it looks like going down. Not that that helps much, but you can at least see how it kind of comes together. Now this looks really complex, but I can tell you it is as easy as. It's another one of those wow projects that just looks amazing, even though it is so simple to put together. And once you see how easy it is for me to put it together, I know you'll want to be making some as well. And it just uses one in my version, which is 6 inches. You'll understand the 6-inch version. It's actually 16 inches from here to here. It's so big it hardly fits in my camera, but we'll work around that tonight. So now, where are we at? What are we doing? So it uses 1.5 sheets, the 6-inch version, 1.5 sheets of designer series paper. Now in this one I've used our normal strength, I suppose, paper, thickness paper, but the one we're going to do tonight is that heavy duty pattern cardstock that we have. This works with any of our cardstocks, any of our pattern papers, because our pattern papers are designed to use the other side of it. And you can see with this design, I've got this gorgeous dots on one side and the pattern paper, and coming together, it is so hard to picture how you get it to look as nice as this. So what do you think, girls? Do you like this one? I like it. So we might get started, but before I get started, there's a few things I want to remind you of. The first one is that Charity Day is on the 6th of October 2018, so that's Saturday. It is at the Salisbury Bowls Club, which I'm really excited about because they look after us so well. And also I've got some upcoming classes which I haven't done the projects for yet. But the first one is on the scrapbooking one. Hi, Robin. The scrapbooking one on the 7th, Friday the 7th of September. I can't even think what month it is at the moment. And then I have my two Friday classes on the 14th of September and my big class, the Technique Teaser, on Sunday the 16th of October. And then even more exciting is that I've got the catalogue launches, because we've got a new catalogue coming out in just a couple of days. And so on the 5th of September, the new catalogue is released. And so my catalogue launch will be on the 22nd, 23rd, I think it is. Now I've confused myself. But it's a Saturday and Sunday. And I'm going to change things up, which I try and do regularly, so there's always a surprise. So let's get started. I'll shift this one out of the way. As you see, I've got to tie up the top. Now it's actually made in 6 parts, so I'll put that over here because there's not enough room. Now, so I need 6 pieces of 6 by 6 inches. Now in centimeters, that is 15.3 centimeters. So that in square. Then I'm going to grab a bone folder, and this is the thick Share What You Love Specialty Designer Series paper. It's a huge pack, but it does this job so well, and I love this paper. As you can see, this one isn't Christmassy at all. Now I just have to get these as square as I possibly can, which I missed a little bit then. Now let me know if I go off screen, because sometimes it's a little hard with a big project like this. Now it's so simple, you won't even need any, you won't even need a paper to write all this down. Truly, it is that simple. I know, I had kept looking at these and thinking how difficult they would be to make. And remember, I used to say, well, I still say, that I have no spatial capacity, but I can still make this one. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is grab a pair of long paper snips. Now, I could have used my my Stampin' Up ones here, but some of these cuts are going to be quite long, so it's easier just to get a sharp pair of paper scissors. So these are my spare ones that I sometimes use for this job if I need something a little longer. Now, the first one I made, this one here, I never measured once. And as you can see, it turned out really well. But I think you know I'm a little OCD, so turned out really well wasn't exactly what I was looking for. I was looking for perfect. And here we come. Emma has made them many times with her Year 1 student. So we use paper, I can't just read this, wait a minute, I'll just see, to make snowflakes. So that's how easy it is. Grade 1 can do this. I think you've ruined my reputation because they were thinking I was quite smart there, Emma. Anyway, let's get going. I'm going to, as I said, you don't need to, I'll keep that as it is. You don't need to measure, but I am going to measure just because I can't help myself. But from each end, I'm just marking in 3/4 of an inch. 3/4 of an inch, then another 3/4 of an inch. So that first one is at 3/4 of an inch, next one's at 1.5 inches, and the next one's at 2 1/4. So I've just got those little marks there, and on this paper you can't see any difference. You can't see those marks. So same on the other side. I'm just going to line it up somewhere. Put 3/4 of an inch, go along another 3/4 of an inch, and then go along another 3/4 of an inch. And I just do that because I found that it's easier put together if these are pretty even. But truly, it makes no difference. Now the first thing we're going to do, now that's how it opens up into the 6x6. See, Emma says no measuring required, and I agree. Certainly the first one I didn't. But I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm going to cut through the fold lines straight down here. And I'm going to keep it parallel to these sides. Oops, and hopefully I keep this all in line. It's pretty easy. Now the one thing you don't want to do is go over that halfway mark. So just think, if I put this down here, keep it nice and straight. I don't want to go over that imaginary line here when I'm cutting. So I can cut close to it, just not all the way up to it. So I'll show you what I'm doing in a second. Now sometimes I do go back to adjust these cuts. Doesn't matter how far you go in. This is one of those no-fail projects, which I always like no-fail projects. Well, I hope it's going to be no-fail tonight anyway. So we'll come down here. This is super thick paper. I've got another mark here somewhere. I don't know where, but I need to come down a little further than that. Now the way I know how far I want to come down is I kind of line it up with what I did on the other side. But even that doesn't make any difference. So I'll come down to here. So you can see when I open this out how I've just cut that so that it's still joined all the way in the middle. I don't want this to be cut all the way through. So I'm going to do the same to the other one. Now I need 6 of these, but I've already done 4 to speed this up a little bit. So now I hope you can see me. I know. Let's get going. I'll put the ruler away. We don't need that anymore. We'll just cut down again like we did. So I'm only doing 2 of these. All the rest are already put together. You see, you can get a little quicker as you go. I want to take that down a little further, not too far, because I don't want it to cut over the halfway mark. I'll turn this around this way. Cut down, just keep it nice and straight. It's not difficult, especially with big scissors. So I try and line up. I'll just show you how I get it a little neater. So if I grab my ruler again, and I've only done this by eye, but this cut, my left cut and my right cut, I try and make similar and the same all the way down. Now I'm a little short on this, but I'll grab my little paper snips just for the last little bit. And it makes it a little easy because they're super sharp. Okay, now, so I've done those. And I'm going to grab a stapler. Now you could use a hot glue gun, you could use glue dots, but the staple seems to hold it together. And how quick does staples make it? I'm sure you can see how these are now cut. And you'll see as I put these together how it will work. Now the first one I'm going to do is just pick up this top layer. And I've already got that lovely crease that I put in before when I folded it on the diagonal. And I'm just bringing those 2 corners together. This is a little stiff. In fact, it's very stiff. But I'll then grab my Stampin' Up stapler, which has now retired sadly because the supplier went out of business. But any little stapler, a little the better. Will work on this. So you can see that stapled nicely together. So I've done one up to the top, then I'm going to flip this over so I see the different pattern, and then I'm going to flip these over. And I just place it in the middle. You've got that crease there to make it nice and easy to see. Now I hope I'm not going to run out of staples, but you know I'm going to, even if I'm only one short. So then I flipped it over again, turned it over again, so I got those 2 corners together, lined them up. This is where I found just having measured makes it a little easier, but certainly you don't need to. And if I was making lots of these, there'd be no measuring. I'd be zipping them through like you've never seen. So there's one done. How easy was that? So we'll go on to the next one. And you'll see me, now this one, I don't know, it was this one. I've gone the neutral shade up to the top. Well, this way I'm going to go the other way. So I'm going to start from this side because I want them alternative. So I'll do these. Just staple it like this. So you're wondering how this is going to still come together. Then I'm going to flip it over again. Isn't that paper gorgeous? Love it, love it, love it. Hi Suzanne, how are you? Oh my goodness, you're retired. How exciting. Have to be in touch. So I've flipped this out. I've gone one this way, then I've turned it back over, gone corner to corner again. This is so easy, and I know I don't think it's looking confusing, but I think it's pretty easy. And as Emma said, her grade 1s can do this, so we certainly can because we're used to working with paper. So all put together, and I didn't even rush. Now, I'll bring this other one back, and basically they're divided. You put the top together, then the bottom together, and then join them. And to get the top together, you go one by one. So I'll show you what we will be doing. So one of the hints that I've got here is to make sure that your staples are all on the underside. So there's my 3, one I'd obviously done before. And I've got staples, staples, staples all on the left. So it looks sometimes, I think it looks a little messy when some go this way, some go that way. But that's just me. I don't even think you notice in reality. So I'm grabbing 2 of these. And it doesn't matter how they come together, but you're just going to line up. I want a different one in the center, sorry. So I've got the pattern paper on the outside, pattern paper inside, pattern paper on the outside. So that's the order I want them. So I'm just putting these points together. And of course this paper's a little stiff, it's a little harder. But it's not difficult, it just needs a bit more care. And I've got my trusty staple here again. And I just make sure it's gone all the way through. So that's how it now looks. But I want to also add some staples in the center here to keep it nice and secure. So I'm joining on these 2 bits here. Hope you can see that. So it's where I've stapled before. So I'm going to line those up again. Get them as parallel as I can. Doesn't matter. No, it doesn't. But for those like me, you can see a slight difference if you really go looking. But they're so spectacular. So there's one together. And as you see, that doesn't pull apart. So we just got to join this one. Hopefully I'm in the right spot here that you can see what I'm doing. So I just want to make sure that went together. So there's one, and I had done one before. So this is the one before. So I'll now join it together. So obviously this is going to be the part that we join together first. But I just want to make sure that I've got this around the right way, because up or down it makes no difference. They're both the same, but that's not right. So I do have to have it like this. And then this time they don't kind of line up, they go into point to point. So there's an overlap. I keep an overlap of probably about 1 inch. But I do try and center it. And then I'll grab my stapler again. It's a little hard to get it in. There's a fair bit of paper here now, especially this thick paper. Just that little thick here. Here we go. And I'm going to put 2 in there just because. I don't know. So that's, you can see it now coming together. But now I want to join these together to finish this off. So the same as before, just line those up. Stick a stapler in here. As I said, it's just a little thick, this paper, but it works. And that one's right. And then we want to join these together. This gives it a lot more stability if you join them here as well. And so this time I'm going over the top. It's just which way works the best. And I don't know that that one went all the way through, so I'll do that again. That one. There's probably no staples left. Anyway, yeah, that's better. Rightio, so now you can see how easy that was to come together. I don't know what time it is. That took 20 minutes and that was with a little bit of chatting. But now I want to, now I haven't actually planned how I'm going to do this, but I would like to add, and which side do I like the most? They're both pretty nice. I don't know that there's much difference in them, but I'll stick to this side. Now I want to stick this doily on, which is going to take a little bit of, maybe a little bit of fiddling, and then I'm going to add this to it, but I'll do that first. Now, this is just one of the doilies that is in the annual catalogue, and I can't think of the name of it now, but and I'm just adding a 1-inch circle onto a 1 1/4 inch scallop. Now, I could have die cut this with a current die, but this was so much quicker. If I was making lots of these, I'd certainly be using punches. So I'm just going to make sure I've got this nice and straight, and I like how that's sitting, because I always feel that there's some, see, this one isn't as straight as some of the others, so I always make sure that when I've joined them, those points are pointing up and down, which makes then that line a little straighter, a little easier to work with. So I'm going to grab a couple of glue dots, which are here. I'll just rip off, I've got far too much paper here. So let's see. Now, did you think it was easy, Fran? Is this one that you'd be doing? So I'm going to, this is going to go a little off shape, but that's okay. I just want to make sure that it sticks down. Now this one I can actually stick on my front door, I think, for spring, even though it's paper because it's so thick. I'll just put this one on the edge there. Hopefully that's going to stick. And then I'll stick this down here. I'm using my, as I always do, my little paper piercer to stick that down. So there's, I've added just a little centerpiece, but I'm going to add a bow, and I'm using old olive. And I picked this ribbon. I know it's retired. I don't normally showcase anything retired, but I've used up all my old olive, and I haven't yet reordered placements. So I'm going to stick that on with a couple of glue dots, which is always my go-to adhesive for, oh no, that's better, for sticking ribbon on. I always make sure I put a few glue dots on so that it won't ever come off. So Fran, is this something that you'd make? Seeing you like 3D items a lot. So doesn't that bow look gorgeous? And I've then put it on the wrong way, so I've just got to lift that up gently. I didn't pay attention to my own instructions there. It needs to be like that. There we go. And I might just drop another little glue dot. You can see I don't want this to come apart in the wind or anything, so I'll put that little glue dot underneath that bow, and I think I can get another one under here. That'll just give it a bit more stability as well. Not doing it on the top layer, just the bottom layer. Rightio, so there you go. I thought you might make one with the girls. Then I need to tie it. So I've got a little punch. I'm going to turn this around so you can see what I'm doing. So I know this is my top side. So I'll punch a hole there that I can feed the ribbon through. I've got a little bit more ribbon here. Hopefully it goes through that little hole. Now I have been concerned about this ribbon pulling out. Oops, I didn't punch that out very well. I'll shove this through. I think that's a technical term, shoving it through. It's a pretty big ribbon for such a small hole, but we'll get it through, I hope. Oh, come on. Here we go. Right. Now I do worry about this ripping through, so I just add a little staple under here. Hopefully I've got one left, and that'll stop, that staple will stop that coming through. I'll find some ribbon scissors and cut that off. So I'll got a life of its own, this, at the moment. And that's the front, and then I would just tie it down like that. So what do you think? Do you like this one? Would you like to make this on Saturday at the team day, Fran and Catherine and whoever else? So how easy was that? So who else is going to have a go at this? Nobody? Oh, come on. It's such an easy project, and 6 by 6. I don't think you'll have any trouble with it at all. And as you see, they're all made the same. So hop on board. As I said, we'll be making this on Saturday. This is the, I suppose, the 3D project. And rightio, a few of you are. Rightio. Don't forget the upcoming events, especially the classes in September, and the most important one being the charity day in October, and we're supporting the drought. It's a drought assistance for the farmers here in Queensland, and we're doing that under the auspices of Drought Angels. So thanks very much. I've kind of right on time. In fact, I'm a little under time. Don't forget that if you love these papers or any of our designer series papers, and you know we have gorgeous ones, I'll just bring back the Christmas one so you can see the difference. We do have gorgeous papers. They are all available. Under the Mistletoe, the other one was Share What You Love, are available from our online store, which can be accessed from anspaperworks.com.au. Rightio, let's go. Have a fabulous night and have a fabulous week crafting. I can't wait to catch up with my team this weekend when we're just going to be crafting for all day Saturday. And it's always great together to chat and just enjoy what is a fabulous day. So thanks everybody. See you next Monday night. Can't wait. Good night.